websites and government services. My question will be, I'd like to hear, if approved, how will your ministry ensure that we have resilience and rapid recovery of these government services when we do have those attacks? I also would like to hear what strategies you have to deal with the growing challenges posed by social media phenomena such as fake news, misinformation, disinformation. What strategies would you promote to ensure that we still uphold freedom of speech, but also protect the country from fake news and misinformation? And lastly, also your ideas on how to deal with the big challenge of concern by use of unethical use of artificial intelligence to terrorize people or to promote misinformation again and disinformation. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you. On the issue of challenges on cyber attacks, this is a world phenomenon today. But other countries in the world have engaged professionally so that some of these things can be curbed through legislation. And it's a continuous process because the attacks are getting more and more serious because of AI. Because both AI is good and it's bad in terms of how we use AI. But the challenges are real, and the only thing is to be able to put resourceful people and money in terms of developing firewalls and things like that that will stop cyber attacks and in real time. And this would be difficult given the status of our country in terms of use of where we talk of things that have already happened. And that is why it's important to have digital information available in real time so that decisions can be made in real time. And that is possible. Social media, misinformation, and things like that. Apparently, this is happening again in the whole world, where very energetic young men and women on social media take to social media to send information, some fake, some real, some by use of AI. They could easily get my picture as Kabogo and use it to spread fake news as it is me who is saying. Suffice to say, Mheshimiwa, that the laws are there. We have, for example, the computer misuse and that law that governs such misuse is just a part of enforcement that needs to be improved, and also regular review of the law, but also cognizant of the fact that there is freedom of expression in Kenya, and we have to strike a balance so that the freedom of one is not used to infringe on the freedom of others. But more so, we should be thinking about engaging the younger generations, the Gen Zs, the millennials, on how to have ethical use of cyber space or internet space. Because today there will be Gen Zs, but in a couple of years there will be fathers. And the engagement should be such that if you put Kabogo in a coffin, as is the case now, at one time there will be fathers like me. How would they feel when their father is put in a coffin? Genuine engagement with the parties that are sharing this platform. On the challenges of the use of AI, I said AI before is good because it helps. If you want to know something today about anything, AI can help you, because AI, what it does is try to mimic human behavior and human thinking. And it's quick, it's information on your fingertips, but badly used will be detrimental to any nation. We should be able to have laws that help in our behavior and our attitude in terms of engaging and using AI. And from time to time, if I'm confirmed in this ministry, we should be able to engage the legislature to see that we have laws that help so that there's a balance. Again, I am aware of the very, very vibrant constitution that we enjoy today that has freedoms that I would not be the one to get into the toes of breaking other people's freedoms, but cognizant of the fact that there should be a balance. And I think I've answered your 3 questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And maybe just for the record, the nominee is my former governor in Kiambu. And we served at the same time when he was governor, and I was a first-time member of parliament. CS nominee, you have indicated that you are the party leader of Tujibebe in your documents. Tujibebe wa Kenya leader as a party leader. I want to know whether you have resigned or you intend to resign. If approved, whether you would resign. 2, in relation to the question that the Deputy Speaker has asked on AI. This is a question from a Kenyan living in Finland who tells me he recently, and he also comes from Kiambu, he recently read an article in one of the newspapers in Helsinki on the working conditions that are described as equivalent to modern slave labor, where American big tech companies are using young Kenyans, especially to do what is described as harmful, removing what is described as harmful content or crude content on Facebook, on TikTok, Instagram, on largely main social media platforms. I say that they ensure that they review Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram to ensure that these important platforms are not filled with hate speech or incitement to violence. We watch murders, executions, child sexual abuse, and rape, often for more than 8 hours a day. And we are paid less than $2 an hour for it. The workers described it as part of the excerpt from that article. And therefore, we would want to hear what you would intend to do as Cabinet Secretary now in charge of ICT. 1, to protect these young Kenyans from being exploited by the big tech companies working on AI from the US and other developed countries. And 2, to also protect these young Kenyans from the harmful effects of the content that they watch, that they have to go through as they work. And you know, mental health is indeed a big issue and has been rated as one of the big issues, especially with those working in the tech space in the country. And probably part of it is out of this engagement with content that they are finding online as they work. What would you do to protect them? Lastly, on revenue assurance, calls dropping, Kenyans telcos continue to work with, we all work with phone companies or telcos that call drops are very frequent, and nobody ever compensates Kenyans for the call drops. What you would intend to do, plus, because that is a situation where these telcos are stealing from Kenyans as we make calls, but the same telcos also steal from government in terms of revenue, because we have a system where KRA cannot tell how much airtime you have used, because it's a self-reporting system with the telcos. What revenue assurance systems would you put in place, probably from CA, Communications Authority, to ensure that CA has a view of the amount of data, the amount of airtime that Safaricom and all the other telcos are selling to Kenyans, because there is theft both ways, from Kenyans and also from the revenue authorities.
Nominee, you can record the next questions.